As the war raged on, Atlanta, the capital of Georgia, grew increasingly perilous. The Northern Army's advance engulfed the city in a ruthless blaze, making it uninhabitable. Rhett Butler, though seemingly indifferent and nonchalant with a veneer of sarcasm and flexibility, was deeply considerate in his actions. He was aware Scarlett had not left Atlanta and quietly prepared to help her escape at a critical moment. When Scarlett requested assistance, he appeared reluctant, but in truth, he was ready. He procured a horse and carriage at great expense, and they fled the burning city together. This segment of the novel is marked by a blend of overwhelming despair and intense passion. Their horse barely survived the raging flames, and as they journeyed, Rhett was acutely aware of the inevitable downfall of the South. Yet, despite his opportunist traits, Rhett carried the noble spirit of honor and sacrifice. Knowing the fight was a lost cause, he still chose to engage. Nearing the Tara plantation, Rhett bid them farewell to join General Lee's Confederate Army, a doomed force. Scarlett and Rhett shared moments of life and death, but Scarlett did not remain with him. She needed to return to the plantation to rebuild it. Her dreams were still tied to the South and the cotton plantation, her home. Scarlett not only aimed to rebuild her home, but also to retain her Tara plantation. This marks the transition to the fourth and fifth parts of the novel. Upon her return, Scarlett found her home in utter devastation. Her mother had passed away, her father was despondent and semi-lucid, having lost the will to live. What once had been a bustling plantation, with more than 100 people and a large family, was reduced to 3 slaves. Her father had lost his sanity, and the plantation had been ravaged, left in ruins. Scarlett, having lost everything, had only herself to rely on. Contrarily, the entire family and the plantation depended on her. Scarlett transformed from a sheltered young lady into someone who had to toil in the fields and manage the remaining servants. Even when some tasks were arduous and beneath the dignity of their prior positions, Scarlett never hesitated. She labored relentlessly because she wanted to survive and revive the Tara plantation. Unlike many aristocrats, Scarlett possessed an incredible inner strength. Upon his return, Ashley Wilkes was despondent, devoid of any hope for the future. The world he knew had crumbled, and he could only live in the remnants of the past. Ashley felt completely disconnected from the new world, harboring no will to continue living. In contrast, Scarlett represented another facet of Southern gentry, independent will. Despite having nothing left, she exhibited immense internal strength, just as she had in love. Scarlett's spirit remained powerful. The Southern plantation economy and society were patriarchal, with men holding power. The South had its complete societal structure, so Ashley's despair was justified. With the collapse of that structure and system, the values men relied on for survival were gone, leaving them adrift. Traditionally submissive women found a semblance of agency only through marriage. The system's collapse marked both an end and a beginning for women, an end to their old expectations and a new beginning of true freedom, the chance to follow their own desires. Scarlett's love for Ashley had initially been one of deep reliance. Starting anew as a planter's daughter, the land was her only hope for regeneration. Even with just 3 slaves and an incapacitated father, Scarlett resolved to rise again, for herself and for the plantation. From this moment, Scarlett took on responsibility. Margaret Mitchell crafted a portrait of an extraordinary woman who did not seek power to cling to. Scarlett later started a lumber business, leaving behind the ways of her forebears who relied on slaves. She embraced entrepreneurship, diligently managing her business and casting aside the formalities of an aristocratic lady. Scarlett's noble spirit became her enormous strength in reconstructing her life. Reading this part of the novel, one can sense the importance of independent will, Scarlett's most distinct trait. She discarded the charmed conditions that once surrounded her.